Welcome to the Marketing Madmen. Is it another one of our SEO and digital check-ins with our boy Chris Williams from Elite Web Professionals? And ironically, Chris and I were just working on our SEO, so this has all come full circle. So now I'm seeing this in action, and it's interesting, man. I'm going to just say it. Just seeing the way that the internet is structured and where to put things and what value is on paying. And what I've kind of figured out is Google's job is to see if you're worth a damn or not. And they're trying to make sure because they want you to stay with Google. So the only way they're gonna do that is if people focus their attention on Google, which means they wanna make sure that what you're doing is of benefit to people. And obviously there's caveats, there's ways to pay around the system, and it's gonna always be that way. But what I found is Google wants to keep your attention, and if you are putting out content that does not keep attention, Google does not want you. Is that fair?
That's absolutely fair. Thanks for having me again, of course.
Thanks for being here.
I think this is really, in 2025, everyone is trying to figure out how to keep users on their web page, and that's by any means necessary. So if you have great video content, great articles on your web page, anything you can do to keep the user on the page, it's going to actually increase your discoverability when people are searching for you, and then just help convert better as well.
Yeah, and conversion is the name of the game, right? And like whether your conversion is, and that's something we're working through. Like, conversion is not necessarily e-commerce, because you're not going to buy an engagement ring online. Please don't, for the love of goodness. Just go in, talk to somebody, because it is too big of a purchase to buy online. There's too easy to scam people. Between what's going on with lab grown and natural, it's just so different out there. So, what everyone's call to action is different, right? It can't be one size fits all. And I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of people out there are applying tactics and not strategy. So they're not building strategy around your business. They're using the tactics that they have to do things. And I don't think that's the best way to do it.
So the conversion is not always just a sale or a phone call. The conversion, many times when it comes to a website related to SEO, is making sure that the person gets to the next step.
Right.
So this particular page is only meant to give them this information to get the next amount of information they need to go to this next page. And so that is a conversion, because you understand that the person is still trying to get the information.
It's the customer journey.
A simple way to look at that is if you have the diamonds, you're showing all the information about the diamonds, but it doesn't have the price on it.
Yeah.
So now they click on the page to find out the price. That's a natural journey for any user coming to a web page. And initially, you may not want to share the price for that initial reason, for your own personal reasons. But if you're taking that person on a journey and they're going the natural way to get the information that they need, that is still considered a conversion. You're demonstrating to Google that the person is doing exactly what you want them to do.
What you want them to do.
Get the results.
Yeah, and I think, so what I've kind of found is that you gotta have a three-tier strategy, right? You always have your most common users, and those are the people that you want to serve the long-form content. Those are the people most likely to buy. Then you want the mid-term firm content, which is kind of the people who know of you, but maybe they're not going to ready to buy an engagement ring. Maybe they want to buy a watch, or they just want to be around. And then you have the short-form content, which is your customer acquisition model. So if you get people from short to medium to long, you win. No one is going to go from short immediately to long these days. They need to be wooed, and it needs to be through that user journey. So I think that's a tactic to apply. You seeing out there as far as, again, those infamous algorithm changes? What are you seeing with AI? I know Gemini, they're putting a lot of money into Gemini to make it compete. So I know there's a lot of underhanded partnerships going on between these companies in a race.
A lot of AIs coming on the market is saying that these AIs are big and bad, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could say whatever you want, but look, the one thing I do know is that Google wasn't going to sit idly by and watch their search dominance disappear. And one of the things that I've come to understand is like the wave of these huge advancements is over, right? Even when China was lying about DeepSeek, like they were using 6,000 NVIDIA chips to do it. Like it's just, we've got to the point where everyone can just steal each other's tech, and they're all almost at the same pace now. So what's going to happen, my understanding is that everyone's going to kind of try to claim territory. Like Microsoft wants business because Microsoft will integrate with Word and Office and LinkedIn. So they're going to kind of carve out business. Google's going to go after about the hyper creators and the people with phones. So everyone's going to try to now jockey for that position.
It's my opinion that ChatGPT is leaps and bounds ahead of everybody. I mean, people can say what they want, but when I use ChatGPT so much, I use the other tools. I've tried them out. As far as the ability to use advanced like coding, understanding, anything from just the regular use of an AI is leaps and bounds above other software. I mean, you got phone numbers you can call, you can text them, you can talk to them, you can send it pictures, creates images.
Yeah, the issue I have with ChatGPT is doesn't play as nicely with Microsoft's files. Like, so what I'm running is I'm taking data from a CRM system, exporting it, and then have it look through it and sort it. And Copilot, which is a ChatGPT product, it has is pretty much doing that work for me without having to export in it.
Or content writing, trying to understand general searches, trying to optimize your website, ChatGPT is going to help you at that time.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's fascinating now seeing things from the other side as the marketing guy. There's probably still a lot of people out here who don't even believe this exists and are still not playing this game.
So many people, go away.
Yeah, so many people, and I think, you know, ultimately, like, you could still run a business without this stuff. Like, let's call it what
At
it is,
this
right?
moment.
At this moment. But again, you're setting yourself up for a long-term failure, and maybe that's the goal. Maybe the goal is they don't want to keep running a business or they want to sell. Who knows? But talk about, you know, a little bit. What do you think? I'm going to say 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 from now. What do you think the biggest changes are going to be? What do you think business owners got to keep their eye on and watch out for?
I think a year from now, I think people will understand how useful AI is for their marketing. And I think a larger percentage of businesses will be using AI for their social media posts, for their websites.
Yeah, let me ask you something on that, because one of my concerns is I saw this post that Facebook, what their intention is to have the AI say, this is what I want to accomplish, these are the people, this is the budget, and it'll just do everything. But isn't that just making a completely level playing field? Isn't that means you're just, all that that's going to do is bid the prices up more and more because everyone's doing the same stuff.
Well,
There's no creative.
That wins for them.
That's what they want.
That's a win for them.
But
and the truth of the matter is, it kind of opens up the playing field. If you're bold enough to put a budget out, you have an opportunity to win too. But
you're right, because then all of a sudden it's not tactic. It's just
to make that investment, so you don't get the opportunity to generate that revenue that's available.
But that
to
works
you.
in their favor, like you said. But now, isn't that going to take a lot of these agencies out of it? Because if that's the work the agency does, now if Facebook's doing it,
that's a great question. I actually don't think so. I think that once you see that that's available, you got to keep in mind that the agency has the same access to the same button, so they can look at the things that are happening.
Except they're taking 20%.
And well, they're going to be able to make adjustments to it, and they'll be able to make that same marketing strategy go even further. So they can see,
they see your other and how it works with other properties.
Exactly.
Right? So Google how it works, what character we're getting, and I'm still fascinated.
So that would give them an even bigger advantage, because likely what's going to happen is they're getting additional data that they wouldn't have access to before. In record time. Because what's happening is you can now run multiple campaigns so much faster with a small amount of budget, and you can pinpoint what ad is working better, and so then you can say, no, axe that one, run
in real
way
time,
more money on this
AI
one right here.
It.
And so because of that, that's going to make marketing companies even better. I've seen great growth on some of the ads that I've seen that I've created personally on social media. I'm actually seeing a trend of the content that you create on your website, creating that same content on your social media, how well it performs, and how you can create a post from your social media page, then you create a mini chat link to send to your website, then you create a blog post on your website to deliver the message, how that converts well.
Sure. I mean, that's similar to having a custom landing page for each post or campaign also, right?
Correct.
So you have matching things, so you're indexing because it's the same thing and it's associating content.
So as you send them on that customer journey,
Yeah.
but you start them this time from social media, get them on your website. I'm seeing a really very powerful correlation between conversions.
Yeah, and that's the opposite
across all the businesses.
That's what the opposite of what we were told. We were always told that leaving Facebook or Meta or Instagram is a detriment because you want to keep you on the platform. But if you're seeing that growth, that's a new thing to explore.
Right. And I mean, you know, a lot of times they're going to convert before they get to your website. They'll give you all the information.
At least they'll have consideration, right? Or you fill out a form or something like that.
But if you get them on your website, I've seen that those are converting very, very well.
Let's end with this, because this has got some legs to it. You didn't know I was going to do this one. The dreaded R word might be here, might be coming. We might be recession. No matter what you say, consumer demand has slowed down because people are uncertain of the future, and uncertainty breeds panic and blah, 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 blah. What are some things that businesses should be doing because of the tumultuous times, because of the decrease in bottom of the funnel demand? Why is organic search and SEO, why is it so much more important? And what are some tactics you can do right now? I'll give you a great example. I am challenging my agencies we've done such a good job of brand marketing. You saw everyone's searching Salomon Brothers, right? But I'm like converting guys, I need bottom of the funnel. I need to target people who are searching for Mother's Day presents near the stores. We got to change tactics. Things are getting tighter. I would rather spend the money. The brand is so important, but we've done such a good job with the brand, converting 20% of my brand dollars to bottom of the funnel call to action stuff. That's a tactic that I'm trying to do because I want to capture, there's a smaller pool. I want to capture more of the smaller pool. What are some tactics you have for people?
Well, I think, you know, first of all, if you're not using AI, I recommend you starting right away, right? If you can implement AI into your business strategy, it's the perfect time to start today. Some of the things you can do is just start out by asking it, what can I post on social media? The AI, ChatGPT, for example, will give you a 30-day plan on content that you can add to.
And it's basing on what keywords are trending right now. So it's doing it on a system, not just
you can give it your company name.
Yeah,
you can give
Scour
it your
the
actual
web
company name.
scrape the web.
It's going to scrape the web for your business name and give you a strategy for your company. Now, that content that it tells you to create for your social media, if you do not have that exact content on your website, create those pages on your website so that now you can actually start targeting that traffic to your site organically. Yeah. So you're getting that traffic from social media, and you're now able to generate that traffic organically. It's the same strategy that I've been talking about for a long time. A lot of people still haven't implemented. They still have 10-page websites, 15-page websites. But if you have 100 posts, 200 posts on your Instagram page, many of that content that you're talking about on your Instagram page, if you just take that and create a blog article for it. Yeah. I know a lot of people say that people have already talked about it. I don't have it. Blogging is dead. Blogging doesn't work. It's just not true. If you haven't talked about it on your website, it hasn't been talked about enough. Take the time to create that article on your website, connect with your user. They will hear your voice. They will buy from you. And in a time like this, free traffic is worth more.
I have to imagine. So one of the strategies we're trying to implement also is use YouTube videos because it just loads quicker. On the landing page, 15 seconds on social media that goes to about 1.5 minutes on the landing page. So you're bringing people different parts of the journey. And then the purchase is there. So they can do everything. They can find out about you. They can do the consideration set a little bit more. And they can do the purchase all in the same spot. And that's ultimately, that's what you want, right? You want to have people in every part of that journey. So any other tactics out there just for like, hey, if the world ends, this is what you need to be doing.
You touched on a lot. You talked about, okay, so the top of the funnel is I want to buy right now. Okay, so keywords that are, related to a price, where you're located, near me, those type of keywords are keywords that people want to buy right now. Also, keywords related to comparison, this versus that. Those are very powerful. Top 10 are good, very powerful right now search terms.
And AI is changing those sets very quickly, right? Because you used to use, again, to my understanding, you used to use the search mechanism to create your own consideration set. Now you're asking AI to create that consideration set for you. You're saying based on these parameters, which 10 jewelers should I stop at? And you're giving it those parameters. And you talk about AI, it's actually a really good point to bring up. So one of the things, my wife and I were having this argument. I was like, she's like, I'm meeting with this. She got laid off because of the cuts to USAID, and she's meeting with this person. I'm like, look, take your job description, plug it into AI and say, scour the internet for the 10 positions most like this, okay? She goes, it doesn't do what I want. I go, well, you're not doing it right. I go, this is a conversation. Change parameters on the fly. Say, those aren't the ones I like. I want one more like this. Can you pull me this? It is not a order and an execution. It is a conversation that brings out the best.
Correct.
And if you're doing it wrong, it's not AI's fault. It's your fault. Understand, be flexible, take the time, give it parameters. You'd be shocked. I have gotten, the thing I've noticed in the past 6 months is the amount of times it says, I can't do that is shrinking. Used to give me a lot of those. It's not, I can't do that. Those are disappearing.
The best way to help with that is understand that AI talks better to itself than you can.
Yeah.
So if you can ask, help me create the prompt for this. So then ask me the questions that I need to know so that I can create the best prompt. So that way it can actually start asking you questions and get a better understanding of exactly what you're trying to accomplish. And then it can give you a better answer. And then, of course, you have the free version versus the paid version, which will go in depth further.
Yeah, and they're getting better, too, because it used to take me 14 freaking cuts and pastes to summarize a podcast. I'm getting in 3 or 4 now. So you feel it. You can
see it's actually performing. And I'm also seeing that its ability to update the meta tags and everything is getting much better. And this understanding of the search results page is getting a lot better as well.
That's a really good point. So one of the misconceptions that I think people have is they're like, Google dings you for using AI, which is so not true. Meta tags are a very specific, it's like math. Like there's no art to it. Meta tags are doing and indexing something for Google to read.
Can I talk about that though?
Yeah, please.
The dinging you for using AI means that you are literally copying it directly.
You're being lazy with it.
ChatGPT and pasting it onto your website. You should be penalized for that. You should be taking it and using it as
But you're right. But when it talks to meta tags, there's no restructuring you can do. Like those things that are very black and white are fine to kind of
well, black and white, if you have the content, you're using the meta tags from the content you've already created.
Oh, of course. You can't create meta tags from not content. So, you're saying based on these parameters, give me some meta tags.
Meta tags,
right? And those parameters are things you're creating.
But the content that you're creating on your website should be. You use ChatGPT as tools and a tool to create good content, and then you need to add your DNA. Now, you can add your DNA to the content before you create the prompt by adding your years or your experience, your expertise topic.
And you'll have to put that in a couple of times. You'll learn as long as you like. One of the things I've kind of learned is that when I start my conversation, I say like, "Hey, this is because I have the website, I have the marketing Madmen, I have all these different things. So I almost say it, hey, this post is relevant to this. This is what I need. Because otherwise it confuses it. Now, that being said, now I have separate accounts. So I have a Solomon Brothers account, and then I have a Madmen account, so it's separate. You're almost talking to it, and like you're giving it all its inputs. You give inputs, it comes with outputs.
Right.
Yeah, and again,
it'll create great content for you, but just keeping in mind that it's only giving you ideas to add to your experience and your expertise. So long as you're adding that in, it'll create great content. Add your location-specific information. Add the things that make you different from your competitors. It'll create amazing content. But if you just go in there and type in your name and push enter and then copy and paste, you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, and it knows that. And like, look, to Sten, I'm sure if you use Gemini and you put it on Google, Google's going to give you a break because it wants to reward Gemini users. I'm sure it's happening. I'm sure if you use Copilot and you plug it into LinkedIn because they loan Microsoft, I know it's happening. I don't know how much it is. But like, if you go to LinkedIn now, LinkedIn will automatically use AI to create the posts. That's using Copilot to do it. But again, you have to start with something. You can't just say, make a post. Like, what's the most popular post in the world? Do it for me. Dead. You're just copying and pasting. You're just taking other people's stuff. So anyway, my man, all right, we got about 2 more minutes. I want you to tell me, make a prediction, outlandish as you want, of something that's going to happen in the 9 months that's going to catch the digital world off guard. 10 months, a year, something that's going to catch the world off guard. So I'll give you an example. One of my things that I think is going to happen is that the speed in which the social media and the AI replace Google in the search is going to force Google to make some sort of drastic maneuver. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if Chrome leaving is going to have, but if people are searching TikTok, it's become a search engine. TikTok has now. And then you start getting comfortable with your ChatGPT, man, people are freaking dating their AI bots, like you're asking for consideration. Force Google to make some sort of pivot, and I bet within the next 9 months to a year, Google is going to do something crazy. Whether it be a model, something new, they're going to do something crazy.
I'm actually looking at TikTok more than a lot right now. And my predictions are going to be that this live sales that's happening right now, the way that it's exploding around the world, I believe that it's going to make a major push here in America.
Yeah.
And within the next 9 months, so many people are going to go be selling live on TikTok, making a real living.
So it's my concern, though, and I don't disagree with you, but it seems like they're selling garbage. It's cheap stuff. Like no one's going to be wooed into buying a $6,000 ring because of a TikTok video. But if you look at the videos,
I think that's what's coming. That's why I say in 9 months.
But I know why, because the psychology.
The next month, well, because what's happening is you got viewers' eyes, and all it takes is for the right influencer to do it, the right person to get behind it, the right network to get behind it. The next thing you know, you have people are watching it. So I think
be careful though. So if you're a brand that has brand value and reputation, that is an easy way to tarnish your reputation. Because what happens is somebody makes a purchase, they hate themselves for making that purchase, and they're going to either return rates are through the roof, or it dings your brand equity. That's really hard to overcome. We've avoided this because, like, if someone makes an impulse purchase and they walk away and they have buyer's remorse, they take it out on you.
They do,
right? Like we
as
try
if you've done something wrong.
As you've done something wrong, and like you dumb made the purchase when you were drunk on a Tuesday night. That's not my fault, but they don't take it out. It's unfair the way reviews work. Everyone's negative review is usually a negative review of themselves. Just like people. Anyway, so as always, Chris, great.
I think that's coming to Instagram too. I think they're going to be trying.
Well, obviously, they have to steal everything from each other. Great conversation as always, my man. I appreciate it. Give them the socials. Tell them where to find you out.
You can find me at Chris Williams Inc. on Instagram. My website is www.advertisingbusiness.org. Feel free to hit me up anytime. Love to help.